Beautiful topic of don't absorb it, observe it, and and it's some sayings that people live by, and such an important aspect because if we think about our own lives, every day we either like a sponge absorbing or or are we reflecting, and am I such that nothing can accumulate on me? But often, for most of the day, as you start on a very high energy and frequency your day, slowly, as you're moving around, this little energy accumulates the energy from outside, isn't it? And it can be the experience, and especially in today's very stressful environments, how by the end of the day, then there's extreme exhaustion, or you can feel it, in your life when you've had to, deal with a very stressful situation or in a very stressful relationship. And if there's conflict, or it's been a very rushed but distracting day, versus it could be a rushed but very focused and clear day, and you can feel still very energetic, isn't it? So it's a lot about the energy I'm holding, and whether I'm then absorbing lower frequency energy, or whether I'm radiating and giving higher frequency energy rather than absorbing. And so usually, that's the experience all day. You can liken it to charging up. And if we're speaking about energy, so you might begin with a cell phone fully charged, and if it's plugged in to consciousness, then you stay charged. But if you're then just expending energy or absorbing energy and being influenced, then by the end of the day you're dead. And definitely, like somebody was sharing, quite exhausted and broken. And so definitely, living in a very challenging time, and there's a lot of stressors. But how can I practice the art of peaceful observation and detachment, so that I can be peaceful and still compassionate without absorbing the chaos in my environments? And I always love that example of energy, and how we can either take on energy, or I can radiate energy. And I know for myself, when I am feeling that I'm getting a little bit influenced, then I remind myself, just shine brighter, shine brighter. So like a star, a simple one-liner that I use for myself, just shine brighter. But it takes awareness, when you getting influenced, when your energy is waning, you have to catch yourself quickly, and then almost switch on and shine bright like a star. I loved this one, I think a children's movie that I had watched, and she was a fallen star, and the way to address the problem was to basically just shine, because she was getting affected by the fairy tale. And so in life as well, we can get quite affected and lose sight of what I'm supposed to do. And she asked herself, what do stars do? And they shine, and she just shone, and all the darkness disappeared. And so I know it's just a fairy tale and a movie, but I love that image. All I have to do as well is just shine. How simple. We forget what we're supposed to do. And why do we feel so refreshed in nature as well? Because nature is minding its own business and is doing what it needs to do, isn't it? They're not looking at each other, what the other one's doing, and getting emotionally reactive about what's happening in the world. And yet, we can absorb a lot of that. But nature minds its own business and takes care to do what it needs to do. So even that example of the star, nature just, the star just shines. And so to understand this aspect of absorption, and to look at it in your own life and how I may be, absorbing the energy, the problems, the challenges. Every time I switch on the television or watch the news, there's a lot to absorb as well. And so an individual have told me how they've stopped watching the news, or they just have an essence-full understanding of what's happening, because the rest just allows there to be too much thinking and too much influence and impressions on the self. And so and the understanding that whatever I need to know will come to me. I don't have to know everything and seek it out, but it will come to me, and I will then respond if I hold my energy in a higher power, in a higher and elevated state. And what happens in absorption as well as we walk through, the day, our everyday, we also, this individual and this energy as I'm moving and walking around, I also sometimes can, absorb and also mirror, what is happening out there. And so, so this importance of just looking at yourself. I remember once a friend who loved to take photos at all our workshops, and she said, Raksha, do you notice you mirror the other one's posture? And I thought, okay, that was insightful. But the whole day, sometimes in the effort to make others feel comfortable, we don't realize how we are mirroring another to create a feeling of comfort. But to what extent then am I absorbing? So to watch yourself in the name of compassion, how you may drop your energy so that you actually think you're helping the other, but can you sit as a master, radiating rather than absorbing? Because as soon as you start radiating, they feel better. But if you drop your energy to their level, how can they feel any support or upliftment from your presence? And so something to think about, how we could be also, as we move through life, absorbing in different ways, because of acquired habits to make others feel a certain way. Shane, do you want to close? You want to close that door? Yeah, thank you. It's just making a bit of a noise, and yes, and and the consequences of that is when I mirror, or when I take on others' emotions and problems, is that I do find that there's fatigue, loss of clarity, stability, and there was experiments that were done that showed that if somebody, for example, was in with you and they dropped a cup of tea, and the first thought as you observed is okay, but when you start thinking more about what happened, like, oh, how could they drop that cup of tea? Couldn't they see, such a simple thing? And so when you have extra thoughts, you actually open up your neural pathways, and the neurotransmitters are more prone to then be used. And that is how you are more likely to do exactly what they did. So that is the power of not observing, but absorbing. Because when you absorb, your neuroplastic neurons, they become activated, and the exact same thing which you may not want to do, you do. So even having opinions about others, and what they are doing, but slowly you start becoming just like them, Many a time I've seen how people who I knew who really could not work with another and had so much issues with another. But slowly you could see the same personality traits were infiltrating them. And so to be aware, because whatever I see and I get absorbed in, I become. And scientifically, it is what has been shown as well. And so I know when I first learned that, I thought, oh, you have to be so careful. It's really a movie you're watching. And you cannot afford to have too much opinions about this movie because every opinion is forming you as well, so quite profound. And we've been taught and socialized to be opinionated, isn't it? So you have to have an opinion and a judgment, an assessment of a particular situation. And slowly, it is draining you, and is creating more, instability, far removed from what you have to do. That is why the beautiful example of nature just does what it has to do. Doesn't mind anyone else's business, why this one did it like that, why that water went around the tree and not, I don't know, And so so all these different opinions, we may have, which can be quite entertaining if you have to observe ourselves, I think. And so so that tendency you know to be very absorbed in the scenes of the drama of life rather than observe it like you're watching a movie. And as I said, being absorbed then results in you becoming exactly like your assessments. and you see it profoundly in the company you keep, and how you may all start speaking a certain way. I always wonder at the little children nowadays, and the accent, even though the moms and dads don't have that accent, but the influence at schools, and I think, wow, where did you come up with that? But it's amazing. But it's our socialization, and it's like they absorptive brains at that age as children. And so the brain's tendency to mirror, to then create these pathways that you're more likely to use. And so the result of absorption is often reaction. But when I watch a movie and I'm just observing it, then I have a healthy response rather than a reaction. But when I'm absorbing the tension in the room, it resonates with the tension within me, and I'm reactive. But if I just watch it like a movie, then I don't want to jump into the movie and sort this actor out and sort that actor out. And and often if you just watch as that observer, and just start to switch on, and rather than absorb, observe, or even better, radiate, it can help solve that problem, with much more ease than if you jumped in and tried to sort it out yourself. I remember and I could hear two people who were close to me, when I had gone back from my university holidays, and I could hear them quarreling. And normally I was the type who would jump in and sort this one out and sort that one out, and even as a young person, and that time I just lay there thinking, let's see this power of mind. And just instead of absorbing and becoming tense and trying to fix, I just started to send good wishes to surround both these people who were quarreling. And And as I listened, I could see, oh, it started to settle and I had to do nothing, versus me jumping in and then creating an account with this one and an account with that one, because that's what happens when you take your energy to sort out another. It's going to come back both ways. And so sometimes you feel you want to jump in there, but how useful is that? Sometimes just observe the power of observation, the power of just switching on and working not with your hands but with spiritual energy, rather than trying to influence situations in the old ways that didn't work but only got you in hotter waters, isn't it? And more peaceless, and fed up, and then you're projecting it on another because they are creating peacelessness. But who allowed the peacelessness to enter, isn't it? And so often because I chose not to be an observer, but I absorbed, I got involved, and when I get involved, then I've created a karmic return, you know. So that's why the power of observation is profound, because if you stay a healthy observer, you do not perpetuate old accounts, you know uh, so something is happening, but if it's like water off a duck's back and it's not impacting on you, then you don't react, because every reaction gets another reaction, and then that story never ends, isn't it? And so if you observe, the power is that something may come your way, and because you don't give it back, it's settled. And maybe it takes a few years to settle, but if you keep reacting, you're going to perpetuate that. But if you just respond by staying switched on, not absorbing, but observing, slowly, slowly, like they say, it takes two hands to clap, slowly, slowly, the other hand will stop clapping as well, because you're not making a lot of noise in return, and so, yeah, so the importance of observing rather than absorbing. And so what I also loved from our study this week was this lovely attitude of sit on your throne as the observer. So almost to feel this is my movie room, my cinema, and sit here and watch the movie, you know. So as the spiritual energy, as the soul that I am, the living being in this body, can I sit in the cockpit or in the movie house and watch the movie? So this is only one of maybe 4 billion sitcoms. If you take yourself out of the bigger and look at the bigger picture, we are just one sitcom, and there's lots of crazy sitcoms out there. And sometimes I get so zoned in to my little sitcom that it kills me and breaks me, and I'm tortured and I'm and so how we take it so personally, and yet there's this big, 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 big picture. And so can I zoom out of the small little scene to see what's healthy for me, and what types of thoughts do I want to move forward with. And so as often as you can, zoom out to see the bigger picture. And that way you don't absorb, but you observe. And as that spiritual being seated on your throne of the forehead, can you then watch the scene and know that I love this, that even my thoughts are not me. because sometimes we judge ourselves based on our thoughts. And so to understand that even my thoughts I created and I can uncreate, you know. And that for me is beautiful, because sometimes we feel harassed by our own thinking, but we're not our thinking. We drop deeper to who we truly are, and I'm the living being, and I'm emitting thoughts. And if a thought is not to my liking, then drop deeper to come to that complete, whole, stable, safe, loved, peaceful, blissful energy that I am. And these thoughts are like passing clouds. And if I observe them, they will pass. And underneath is that true awareness, that blue sky that I truly am, you know? So sometimes when you're feeling the thoughts are racing, or you're exhausted, or you're feeling drained or influenced or affected, can I move even beyond the thinking to the being, because I am not my intellectual power, my power of personality, or my power of positive thoughts. I'm even more than that. I am soul power, you know. And so that spiritual perspective of being that healthy observer rather than absorbing even my own thoughts about situations, you know. So sometimes we absorb not even things from outside, but we absorb our own old stuff that don't deserve a space in my healthy new self, you know. And so sometimes it's not even other people or environments, it's my own stuff. Today also healthy conversations I was having with some individuals, and we were just saying how you know, uh, my world is my making, of my making, and I could have nothing, but if I have love and happiness and thankfulness and gratitude, I could have everything in the middle of nothing, but yet I could have everything externally, and with my clouded mind, I could have nothing, isn't it? And so my life is my creation. And so to what extent am I really enjoying just feeling grateful? Uh, and gratitude is an energy that then washes away the absorption, isn't it? Because when you're always looking to be grateful, you're observing and you're counting your blessings. But when you are absorbing, you are, you are stuck in the squalor or the challenge, of life, of the world, of the country, of the city, and then you're digging a deeper grave. And so how often do we, do we allow our thoughts to be influenced by everything external versus shining from inside to bring that light into the world, a world very desperately needy of that. And so, yeah, so I'm not my emotions, I'm not my thoughts. Can I just watch them and see them, as a movie? And that attitude is really very, very powerful, and something that we could practice more and more. Often as I can, I like to really take myself beyond the current scene to just see myself as energy in a room of other energy beings, and not getting influenced by them. But when you switch on that light of energy, then life feels meaningful, purposeful, and you're not absorbing, you're not a slave, you're not a victim to circumstance, but you are a creator of your life and your experience. And so that is why the importance of observing such a simple, tool of don't absorb it, observe it, but it could change everything about your life if we practice it. And that's the key here. It's practice, practice, practice. And so every day, can I practice? And different ways you could practice is some tools like just pausing and breathing. I know in one of our programs, it's a tool we use called Stop for a Moment. And basically, it's just, in your busy work schedule, for a few seconds, can you just drop what you're doing and become fully present, take a few deep breaths in and out and in and out, and just remind yourself, I am calm. And just let that calm wash away all the thoughts, and that calm just flow into your body. And a simple tool of just stopping and breathing and reminding yourself, I am calm. And that act is switching on that light, isn't it? And instead of absorbing, you better than observing, you even sharing some of that beautiful energy with your body, with your mind, with the atmosphere. And so a simple 1 minute tool that you can use, we always encourage you to practice or have some drill that can remind you on the hour to 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 withdraw healthily from the scene of the drama, to practice coming back to your true consciousness of that living spiritual energy. Then other things that you could do is hold on to inner commentaries or thoughts, that can help you. Like I shared, whenever I'm feeling a little influence in the day, then I remind myself, shine brighter, shine brighter. So simple little things that you could do, that stop for a moment, pause and breathe, or little slogans or commentaries you could tell yourself in your mind. And then another tool you can use is energy awareness. So become aware of your energy. So like I said, when I feel my energy is going down, then I remind myself, and then I see what was I getting affected by, and I see, oh, it was that. And then I remind myself the truth behind that weak thought that I had. Because if you don't keep a check on yourself, that is how you drain out by the end of the day. So that is why it's so important to be aware of your feelings. Sometimes it's hard to be aware of your thoughts because we have so much thoughts, but just get a sense of how you're feeling, you know. And again, maybe at lunchtime, at tea time, with your cuppa, instead of swallowing it so that you don't even know that you drank it. I know that used to happen to me as well. So busy that I think, where's the coffee? And then I see it's empty. Because I was so busy, I forgot I drank my coffee. But that's not living with awareness. But this importance of, can I be aware? So maybe when you're having that cup of tea, be mindful when you're eating, and just do a quick scan of how you're feeling. And then why you're feeling how you're feeling. What happened in the last hour or two? Maybe somebody said something that made you feel small, but why do you want to go and feel small when you're a beautiful, bright star and, this amazing, unique, beautiful energy? And so the reminder, and if I keep a check on my energy, I will be aware of where I'm still influenced, maybe old patterns, and they still have a slight hold on me. And if I pay that deep attention, then I won't absorb, but I can observe, to learn, to stop that vicious cycle that drowns me. And it could be just traces left, but you have to work with it so that you're free of attitudes and thoughts that are of no use to you. Like a patient today was also telling me how, you know, when she thought she was dying and she got all this love and appreciation for who she was, because she seemed like she was at that point, uh, you know, she realized I am enough. And so she's very happy now whenever she goes, because she's feels she's broken that cycle that she created in childhood, of I'm insignificant. And so yeah, so many patterns we've collected, and it's still the buttons that people can press unknowingly, and we invite them to press it because we haven't thrown away the button. So you need to know your buttons, and you can only know your buttons by observing, you know and then with that observation, remind yourself, I'm not going to engage in that. I'm not going to absorb that. I'm free of that, and so with that determination. And so, yes, that's another practice, that energy awareness. And another one would be, like I shared, that watching the scene and the commentary that we played at the beginning, watching the scene of the movie with that meditative detachment, just visualizing yourself as that tiny point, and your projection of the world is happening from this little light. And you know how you have to focus the light, because sometimes things get a bit blurry and looks like monsters. But if you focus the light, you could actually then see the bigger picture, not absorb the emotions, but but stay with that healthy detachment, not to react, but to respond. And so that importance of responding rather than reacting. And so as often as you can, just practice that pause and breathe, uh, sharing inner commentaries with yourself, energy awareness, that meditative detachment where I'm separate from this drama. This is just one scene. I zoom out to see the bigger picture. And then instead of reacting, can I respond? And I can only do that if I have that healthy detachment and that stability, not to be emotional, because I'm not subjectively involved. I'm watching this play. And yeah, and I remember once there was somebody playing a part in the world, a while ago, and he was world famous, and everyone would talk about him. And so this friend said, that person is playing his part so well that he's won global awards for his acting. and and how well are you acting? You know, we all have opinions about this one. Did you hear what he's doing? And he's playing his part so well that he's become world famous. And how well am I playing my part, or am I mirroring others' parts, or reacting to what they give me, or am I the observer? And I know one of my friends, she was studying acting, and she was sharing the depth of acting is much deeper. It's not just you just go and act, but it takes a lot of self-awareness, and to give your best, that attention uh, to how am I going to convey this message, etc. But yeah, so in this drama of life, can I have that healthy detachment, so I can offer the best of myself? I can be that hero actor, rather than focused on everyone else. And as we said, whatever you focus on, you become. And so the importance then of that. And so in life as well, can you really live as that observer and remind yourself that I choose my thoughts, I choose my emotions, and and the thoughts that I create, I can uncreate them. In my relationships, can I also observe with compassion rather than reaction? Because often with relationships as well, maybe because I'm too subjectively involved, I'm very attached and clingy and have expectations, then I do react. But where I can see there's not a balance in my emotions, how can I practice more being the observer in those relationships? And even at work, when you can see, what drains you, how can you address that? If you scan your whole day and see how you become more like a victim rather than a victor, and then see how you could bring more healthier observation rather than absorbing. Yeah, and so lots of aspects about practically, just to look at your own life and see um, how you could bring greater balance through observation rather than absorbing the energy. I know it's not always easy. I worked in quite hectic traumas and casualties, and as you're there, I used to start the evening telling myself I'm an angel. It's going to be a perfect night. I'm not going to absorb any of the traumas, and when you get sworn at and and people are fighting and drunk and and lost and confused and psychotic, and a lot is happening. By the end of the day, how much did you absorb, or how lifted could you feel? It does require attention, and sometimes everyday life can be like that for many. And so it does require that attention to stay switched on, so I don't absorb, but I observe and respond. And for me, I think in addition to observing, can I stay switched on and stay true to myself, like we said nature does? Because when I stay true to myself, in terms of just radiating who I am into the world, then I feel it first, versus others being so I'm feeling it first as it's flowing to me, to others, and so I only benefit. And so, yeah, so any thoughts with regard to that, uh, or any questions? What do you find it hardest to observe, and you find it challenging, uh, and you tend to absorb?
I think thoughts and thought patterns that
Mhm.
keep circling.
Yes,
And to
yes,
try and stop those.
yes,
Very difficult.
yes, yeah. So what's shared in the room is, that one tends to absorb our own thinking patterns. Yeah, and that can be quite difficult. So that is why that practice of just dropping deeper, even beyond your thoughts, to see yourself as that spiritual energy, but it has to be practiced. And if you practice regularly, then your thoughts won't have power, and your self-worth will start blooming, and then you will feel mastery over those thoughts, and slowly those thoughts will shrink and disappear. uh, but it takes practice. Like a habit created over lifetimes can't be gone with one meditation. So you have to be determined that this is going to work, and do it and do it, and pay attention to switching on that light, observing your thoughts, watching them pass. And every thought under observation dies. The best way when you're feeling a bit emotional is remind yourself, every emotion under observation dies. It works. I tried it many a time. So just feeling, emotional about something, and then just watching that emotion and, talking to it or about it, and it becomes smaller and dies. But if you feel you are the emotion, you are those thoughts, then they are bigger than you. But you have to know that you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions. You are safe, you are peace, you are love, you are power. And you can have power then over those thoughts and emotions. But again, this will only be a useless lecture if you don't practice it, because real change only comes with pausing and practice. Yeah. So anyone else, any other thoughts in the room about this topic of don't absorb but observe it? But it's wonderful just for you to appreciate in your own life, when is it hardest to observe, or when do you feel challenged in that you do absorb a lot? Yeah.
It's also challenging when you have someone that's always complaining, in your space.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Always negative about things.
Yes.
It's actually challenging
Yeah.
to
Yes. Yes, definitely.
move away or
Yeah.
say stop it or something
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's where you need some healthy boundaries. So, because you have to, for your own self, create those boundaries, because it is slowly seeping in, slowly, so you have to be careful of that. And so you lay down healthy boundaries with those people, that between, I don't speak between 4 and 8 in the morning. Because that's my quiet time.
Or just move away.
Yeah, or move away. Well, if you live in the same house, you can't move away, maybe.
I know, it's difficult.
but just have healthy spatial boundaries, maybe, because if you don't help yourself, how can you be of use to others? Because you're always bending and bowing and mirroring and trying to make them feel comfortable.
And
but
this
you are
is-
important as well. Yeah. So yeah, because to be hearing this non-stop, and maybe if you call it when it happens, have the courage to do that. Yeah, they might check themselves, hopefully. But if not, then have your spatial boundaries to care for yourself, yeah, and time away. And as you said, if you don't live with the person, you can limit your interaction. Well, and then they might get the message. but yeah, because I am important as well. I don't have to always.
Even if you live with the person, you can even say, okay, it's my time right now, and excuse yourself and find something else to do.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah,
If you don't want to get caught up in that negativity.
yeah. The question was, if you constantly exposed to a complaining person, a negative person, how do you work with that? So yeah, so it's that balance, yeah, and only you know that person and how much and how much boundaries and how much you can share and what you can't share, and how necessary is the constant exposure. Yeah. Any thoughts from anyone online? Anyone else in the room? Any questions? good. I think so much to absorb. No pun on it.
No fun.
You're not observing, you're absorbing.
Quite funny. So in the room, they're saying so much to absorb. But he said, don't absorb it, observe it. So even that's relevant, you know. Sometimes when you feel like, oh God, so much to know, then just relax and observe how it made you feel. What one practice can you take away? Because you don't have to absorb it all, you know. Sometimes just consistently practice
I
one
think-
thing.
I think it's also the effort of absorbing something. You know what I mean? It's like you're listening to somebody and you want to learn the technique. So you want to observe, you know, or I mean,
Yes.
absorb what you say,
Mm.
like the techniques that you use.
Yeah.
So that's also a point of absorbing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I got what she's saying, but
Yeah.
we were just laughing that she got
So
yeah,
I mean,
that
even when you're studying or you're going to a lecture, you want to absorb most of what they're saying in a sense of, you know.
And I
Yeah.
think that's why writing it down helps, because you don't have to absorb it. You've got it there to look at another time.
Yeah, yeah, so much. But it is so much. But we gather this with practice, you know. The more I practice, that's why I shared, you know, repeatedly. Everything was learned through practice and struggle with your own stuff, and as you just keep practicing being that detached observer, and even when you're listening, another tool is when you're listening to a challenging story, can you just see the one in front of you as a soul, see yourself as a soul, and just feel an ocean of compassion flowing from a source to you, to them. So they'll feel more held and supported than you just listening and asking 100 questions and being curious about their story, rather than that's a healthy observation, you know, and healthy compassion. So observing it doesn't mean cold aloofness, but it's just seeing things beyond the physical to the spiritual, to see the other one. That has been on a challenging journey, but then you're not absorbed in their story. You're holding them in their highest, and you staying in your highest, and you connecting to a source that then supports that one. So that's also important for don't absorb it, observe it, because nobody's asking us to be cold and you know, not, you know, dispassionate, but there's ways to be compassionate in a healthy way, that you benefit and you don't feel drained, they benefit and they feel uplifted, and both are restored by a higher energy source, rather than your light diminishing as you're trying to be compassionate, you know. So yeah, so that's also an important point. Yeah. So time is gone. So I'll do a short meditation then for us. So just to sit comfortably. I see not a question in the chat. Okay. So let's do a meditation. So as I'm seated here, I become totally relaxed from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. I allow any tiredness to drop down this body, into my feet, into the earth beneath me. And in a second now, I am seated as that beautiful spiritual energy, the soul in the center of my forehead, the observer, like a king seated on the throne of the forehead. I watch my thoughts like passing clouds, knowing that they too are fleeting, temporary. They are not me. I am a peaceful and powerful observer. And I watch the seams of life with deep awareness always of who I am. Just a traveler, a guest in this body, playing my part in this movie of life as best, and always aware to keep improving the part, to share light with my thoughts, in my relationships, at work, at home. Everyone and everything will do what it needs to do, and I will do what I need to do. When I take care, when I'm fully aware, the best is always offered as I stay connected to that ocean of power and peace. I respond powerfully to every scene that I meet. And so as often as I can, every day, can I live with awareness, with the simple practice of returning my consciousness to its rightful place as a master observer, one who responds with authority, because I have practiced. And now gently, I bring my awareness back here, just keeping a check on my feelings. And as soon as I catch my feelings sinking even the slightest degree, I become the observer again and again and again.